Hello everyone, welcome to VV Biology. This is Ranjithkumar. Today we are going to discuss about the structure and function of stomata. So stomata is a very important issue in the plant and that facilitates some of the very important physiological activities. So that plays very important role in the survival of the plant. So let us discuss about the structure and the mechanism of stomatal opening and closing followed by the functions. Let us go with the structure first. See, the stomata has certain important parts such as the God cells, stomatal pore and the chloroplast. So here you can see the two bean-shaped cells are nothing but God cells. Between these bean-shaped God cells, we have a small opening or a pore called as stomatal pore. Pore is nothing but a minute hole, right? So there is a hole or a pore between two God cells or it's nothing but stomatal pore. This stomatal pore or opening, connects the atmosphere with the air spaces of the leaf. Understood? Right. So then here I have given some red color bubbles in the God cells. These are nothing but chloroplast. As we discussed in the previous topic, in the previous video, the God cells consist of chloroplast. So they are capable of doing photosynthesis. Don't forget. And here there are some petal-like structures which are associated with the God cells. These are nothing but called subsidiary cells. This terminology is not given in the 10th NCERT textbook. So you will study this in the 11th and 12th topic. Just for your knowledge, I am telling you. Subsidiary cells. So subsidiary cells, God cells, stomatal pore, all together called as stomatal apparatus. Right? So here I have given two diagrams of stomata. One diagram is more than enough to explain the structure of stomata, right? Then why we need two diagrams? So these two diagrams shows the two different states of stomata. So first one is the stomata in open condition. Another one is the stomata in closed condition. So open stomata and closed stomata. What is open stomata? Nothing but the stomatal pore will be opened in this state, whereas in closed stomata, the stomatal pore remains closed. So open and closed stomata. Right. So now you may have a question, sir. What causes the opening and closing of stomata, or who regulates the opening and closing of stomata? When did the stomatal pore opens or close? So you may have certain kind of questions. Let us try to find the answer for all those questions now. First thing, who regulates the opening and closing of stomata is nothing but God cells. So these two bean-shaped cells present around the stomatal opening or pore is nothing but God cells, and those God cells regulates the opening and closing of stomatal pore. So very important. One more question. Which part of the stomatal apparatus regulates closing and opening of stomatal pore is nothing but God cells. Now you may have another question for that is how the stomatal pore opens and closes, or how the God cells opens and closes the stomatal pore. So you can say this happens by the migration of water. Migration of water. Let me explain how this occurs. Look at here, the subsidiary cells and the God cells are filled with enough amount of water and they maintain equal pressure between them, right? Whenever the God cell need to open the stomatal pore, whenever the God cell need to open the stomatal pore, during that time the water molecule will migrate from the subsidiary cells into the God cells. So slowly the water molecules from the subsidiary cells will migrate into the God cell and which accumulate there. As continuously the water migrates into the God cells, So due to accumulation of more water, the God cells will enlarge in size, or we can say swell. The God cells will swell and becomes turgid. Turgid is nothing but becoming or being stiff, right? Say for example, if you take a balloon, right? Generally the balloon will be very flexible, right? And when you blow the air into the balloon, which slowly enlarge in size, or you can say swelling, and it becomes stiff. So that stiffness is nothing but turgidity or turgid. So when it becomes turgid or stiff, that makes the stomatal pore opens. Understood? And that allow the exchange of gases between the atmosphere and the leaves of the plant. So the stomatal pore is opened by the God cells due to migration of water from the subsidiary cells into the God cells. As this occurs continuously and the God cells will become turgid or stiff, hence it opens the stomatal pore. Understood? Right. Coming to the closed stomata, when or how did the stomatal pore is closed? Same mechanism, but it occurs in the opposite manner. Same migration of water. See, whenever the God cell need to close the stomatal pore, during that time, the water, it makes the water molecule to move from the God cells into the subsidiary cells, exactly opposite to this. So slowly the water molecules will be accumulating in the subsidiary cells. As the God cell lose its water, and the God cells will become or will shrink slowly. As they shrink, and that makes the stomatal opening or stomatal pore to close. So as it loses its more water, it becomes shrink and closes the stomatal pore, and that stops the exchange of gases between the atmosphere and the leaf of the plant. So in both the cases, the migration of water plays very important role, right? But it occurs in the opposite direction. So in the case of open stomata, the water migrates from the subsidiary cell to the God cell. Whereas in the closed stomata, the water molecules move from the God cells to the subsidiary cells. Understood? So this is all about the mechanism, right? Now you may have a question, sir. You said that who closes and opens the stomatal pore, and the mechanism of or how the opening and closing of stomatal pore occurs. Now you may have a question: when did the plant opens or closes the stomatal pore? When? So it is very important to mark question. So the plant will open the stomatal pore during photosynthesis, during respiration, during transpiration. See, the photosynthesis require carbon dioxide that will be taken from the atmosphere into the leaf, and during which it releases oxygen that has to reach to atmosphere. So definitely the stomata need to be open. During respiration, it has to take oxygen from the atmosphere and need to release carbon dioxide. So it is mandatory to open the stomatal pore. During transpiration, the plant has to transpire the excess water in the form of water vapor into the atmosphere. So during which it is mandatory to open the stomatal pore. So you can conclude that the plant opens the stomatal pore during photosynthesis, respiration, and transpiration. Understood? You may have another question. When did the plant will close the stomatal pore? So it is very important question. So the plant closes the stomatal pore when that does not require carbon dioxide for photosynthesis. So, sir, what you are saying? Without carbon dioxide, how the plants will do photosynthesis? Well, you may have a question. See, this is not applicable for all the plant. This is applicable only for the xerophytes. Xerophytes in the sense the plants which are living in the dry soil like desert, right? So actually, the plants which are living in the desert will get very less amount of water. So in order to reduce the loss of water during daytime, the plant will remain closest the stomata completely. So it prevents the loss of water through transpiration, but it affects photosynthesis, right? Since the stomatal pore is closed, it cannot take carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. So how these plants are maintaining the requirement of carbon dioxide? So they are playing another they are having some other mechanism. During night time, the xerophyte stomatal pore will remain open, and they will take oxygen during respiration, and the carbon dioxide will not be released. That will be converted into an intermediate substance will be stored in the cells. During that time, whatever the carbon dioxide have been converted into intermediate substance will be converted back into carbon dioxide, will be utilized by the cells for the photosynthesis. So during daytime, so they are using that intermediate substance to produce carbon dioxide. Understood? So ultimately they no need to open stomatal pore. So very important question. When did the plant close a stomatal pore? The plant closes a stomatal pore when it does not require carbon dioxide for photosynthesis. So if you write this statement, 1 mark will be given. If you justify this statement with the example of xerophytes, what I explained, you will get additionally 2 marks. So it's a 3 mark question. Understood? So very important thing. Another question based on the stomata, if the leaf of the plant is covered or coated with the Vaseline or a wax, what are the physiological activities will be disturbed? See, if you are applying Vaseline on the surface of the leaf, see, Vaseline is transparent. So it will allow light to penetrate into the leaf, but it blocks the stomatal opening. So there will be no exchange of gases. If there is no exchange of gases, there will be no photosynthesis, no respiration, and then no transpiration. Ultimately, the plant will die soon. So very important question. Make it sense. Understood? And the stomata can be asked in other 2 mark question or 3 mark question as a diagram question. So you have to draw both the diagrams and label the parts. So very important. So this is all about the stomata, my dear students, my dear friends, and hope you understand the topic. And if you have any doubts in the topic, please leave in the comment section. Let me give a clarity. If you like the video, please do like the video and share to your friends, and subscribe my channel VV Biology. And we will meet in the next video with another very important and interesting topic. Until then, bye from Ranjithkumar. Thank you all of you. Thanks for the listening.